Just when I thought I'd never seen anything before in my entire life, I never thought I'd seen anything yet like some of what we've all seen as of lately. And I'm about to show you some of what I'm talking about right now.
This show is for those of you who understand that fearlessness isn't a single action, but it's a lifestyle. So let's freaking go.
It could work! Intense enough to warp the very fabric of space and time.
This is Spain This Nation.
We have witnessed over the last several years the destruction of modern-day Hollywood and the entertainment industry, Jay. And of course, you can point to a variety of reasons for them continuing to shove propaganda in these movies that people are not interested in, to the insane rising costs of these productions that's getting completely out of control, to the point where so many of these studios, it's cheaper. Even if they got a studio in their backyard, it's cheaper for them to go to another country, to go to the UK, to go to Ireland, to go somewhere else, so they get a tax break while filming it because it ends up being cheaper that way. And along the way, when you've had all these writer strikes and actor strikes and the set workers, all these people that went on strike at very inopportune times when the industry was struggling anyway, it's all just ended up in Hollywood being a ghost town, people losing a ton of their jobs. And we knew that Donald Trump wanted to do something. He wanted to make Hollywood great again. He wanted people to come back. And a lot of us, myself included, felt that that was going to happen by providing some of those same incentives for filming that a lot of these countries are performing. Apparently, that is not the case because Trump dropped a bomb on Truth Social yesterday, and it has a lot of Hollywood studios panicking. We've seen their price stock even dip a little bit as investors are very worried about this news. Trump says he's instituting a 100% tariff on films produced outside of the U.S. because the movie industry in America is dying. President posted that Hollywood and other areas are being devastated due to a concentrated effort by other nations, which constitutes a national security threat. And here's the post in full. The movie industry in America is dying a very fast death. Other countries are offering all sorts of incentives to draw our filmmakers and studios away from the U.S. Hollywood and many other areas within the U.S. are being devastated. This is a concerted effort by other nations, therefore a national security threat. It is, in addition to everything else, messaging and propaganda. Therefore, I'm authorizing the Department of Commerce and the United States Trade Representative to immediately begin the process of instituting a 100% tariff on any and all movies coming into our country that are produced in foreign lands. We want movies made in America again. There's a lot of things to talk about here.
Yes.
One, I'll say this. It doesn't really matter if these studios are making movies in the UK or they're making movies somewhere else. Like, the propaganda, the worst of it is coming from Hollywood. Doesn't matter if they're filming here or somewhere else. Just put in the propaganda and the messaging.
Yes.
I also don't know if this means just movies, straight up movies. Does this mean all streaming series? Does this mean all TV shows? Like, what exactly does this mean? When exactly will it be instituted? We don't know. This is in order to begin that process. But just right now, a handful of the big productions that are currently ongoing. Avengers Doomsday, which is on pace probably to have a $350, potentially over $400 million budget, if not higher, is being made in the UK.
Yep.
Avatar 4 is being made, I think, in New Zealand right now. The Odyssey is filming overseas. Supergirl is filming overseas. This is just a handful of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things that are being filmed. But just take these Disney movies, the Marvel movies, 100% tariff. What do you do? If you're Disney and this comes out, what do you do when you're starting to ramp up production, but it might cost you now twice as much as you expected?
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm curious to see what if a movie has a $300 million, if it costs them $300 million to make in London, because a lot of the Marvel and Lucasfilm have shifted their studios overseas. Like, does that make it now a $600 million movie? Does it make it a, 750? How does that work? Coming back. So yeah, there's a lot of questions. And then we got to get into like television shows. How will that deal with, foreign films coming over that
That's
that
the thing, the
actually do
indie
well.
industry.
Yeah.
And
So
a lot of people feel like, and I don't necessarily count myself as one of those. I've seen some good ones, seen some ones I don't care about. I don't really care about anime, as I've famously said. However, there's a lot of people who feel like some of the best entertainment we're getting right now is coming out of Japan and South
yes.
Korea and stuff like that. How does it affect that? How does it affect the indie movie circuit? There's so many questions with this, and we don't have the answers. We don't know how this is going to be instituted. Is this just another move by Trump to make a splash, and then in reality get them to cave and try to get these states to cave to some sort of tax reduction or incentive to have people there? I don't know. I know that there's a lot of on-the-line workers in America, in Hollywood, in California, that have nothing to do with writing these shit shows. They're not actors. They're not writers. They're not producers. They're people who are holding microphones. They're cameramen. They're on-the-line workers. They're people who have lost their jobs because Hollywood has destroyed itself with the terrible movies they're making. As a result, they need to cut costs any way they can. As a result, they're moving them internationally to cut costs. And a lot of those people have been out of jobs forever.
That's what
so there's some people that are very excited about that hope it will force it back, even with the, insane costs.
That's when I first saw this, my first thought was this is about jobs and bringing more jobs back into America that are going out. So he's just treating everything. Also, you got to believe there's some small little, and this is just my opinion, personal thing going on here with Donald Trump and all the people in Hollywood that have constantly come out and trashed his name and done all these things. You got to believe there's just a little something in there where he's just like, oh, I'll show them. I'll show them. Just a little. That's my opinion. Could be way off from the truth, but that's what I think. I think it has a lot to do with jobs and, things like that. So he probably doesn't watch a lot of the movies that come out of Hollywood. I've never heard him talk about anything that came out of Hollywood except for the show The Apprentice. It's the only one I've ever really seen him really go after.
And so in response, these studios, and look, I have no sympathy for any of these Hollywood studios that have, quite frankly, destroyed themselves, but it puts them in this position now where, hey, like they are bloated, they're overspending. They're also making dog shit, right? I don't know how this curbs the dog shit, but they're in these positions where they've spent a fuck ton of money invested in building studios overseas, and they're actively filming overseas to get the benefit of the 25% discount that you get for filming in the UK. So now do you pack everything up and you move back here? Do you start trying to do more stuff in here, even though there will be an increased cost of doing it here, but now it won't be as exorbitant as doing it overseas? I have no idea how this is all going to play out. But it is like an earth-shattering thing in the entertainment industry to have this announced and for this to come out.
I did see people having a debate on social media about this yesterday too, basically saying what this could do for Hollywood is slow down like the cookie cutter type movies, and it will force them to focus on good films where a lot of their money is going to, that they can't spread it around like we see today, where it's just superhero movie coming out every month, where most of them nowadays are bombing. Like those days from the first three phases are long gone. So maybe it'll make them focus more on smaller budget, better product films to try to, who knows? But again, at the end of the day, who knows? A lot of stuff Trump throws out there, it could be just like you said, a threat. Like, guess what's coming if you don't change your tune, but we'll see. I guess
that's see. Like I said, and I felt like, look, and he established a little, basically a Hollywood envoy for him to advise him on like how to get back and everything. I feel like a lot of what they were saying was, hey, we got to start convincing these states and maybe this country to offer some of the same incentives for filming that we do over there. So we bring them back. They don't have to travel. They don't have to do that. We make it less expensive for them to make them here. And we give all these people who have been out of jobs. That is the one thing that this will have an impact on. And the one thing that's a little bit bulletproof from one certain direction is, look, we're going to prioritize and giving Americans jobs, line workers for these movies, the hundreds of crew people that exist and are needed to make these movies run. We're going to make sure that they have jobs before everybody else in foreign countries. I have no idea how this is all going to play out, though. No idea.
Nope. Me either.
But it is big news. Big news for sure.